Wonderful. I did that one time in Saratoga. I showed it to the Rotary Club, just as I showed it to you, those two films. 6 years later, they asked me to do it again. And I asked the same question, and I actually got hands. Thank you for remembering. And it was really good to get this phone call to do this, and I thought, well, why don't we do something a little bit different? Let's talk about the Dust Bowl and the people who came to this valley from Oklahoma in the middle of all that. I have a collection of about 400 films. I bought from San Jose Library when they sold their films, all in one day. They sold all their films, 16 millimeter. And the schools, Santa Clara County schools, gave me a pickup level full of films with all the racks. So, and I have those on the 3rd floor of an apartment building in storage, and I don't know how many times, I wish I had a nickel for how many times people have said, don't you want to put them on video? Don't you want to put them on CD? And I say no. Because I have the projectors and all. I had to scramble a little bit today. I needed a bulb. And I found one within about a mile and a half from our house. A bulb shop that has them, so I was so happy. Because I was being told, go to San Francisco to get a bulb. No. Yeah. So what the period of time right now is the Dust Bowl, late 30s. And I want to show you a shorter film, maybe 15 minutes, about the 30s, so we get a context of what was happening. And when you see this film, you may be thinking somewhat about today. You may even hear the term Tea Party. And you'll see Will Rogers, and you'll see people who, at that time, were making comments. The more you find out about Woody Guthrie, also, we'll talk about him later, you find that he was very much involved in regard to how people were hurting. And there's 3 people, I think, around this whole presentation. One who did a lot of writing, one who did a lot of photography, and one who did a lot of music. Who wrote about the Dust Bowl? Steinbeck. Who did photography about the Dust Bowl? Dorothea Lange. And who did the music? Woody Guthrie. So I see those 3 as kind of a trio that told us a lot about what was happening. And when I look at that first depression, I know people call this a recession, but there's a lot of people hurting. The difference was that at that time, people could fix their cars on the road. People could grow their crops. If we had a similar situation right now, would people be able to repair their car on the road? Would they be able to grow crops or raise chickens so that they could have something to eat, potatoes and stuff? I think we've become really dependent on things, and it could be really, really terrible if we ran into a situation like the Dust Bowl now. So as you see this first film, you might kind of think, what would it be like now? But the whole theme of this thing, to me, is Americans facing problems and coming through it. And I hope you see that in this 30s film. Yeah. I don't know if it makes any sense to tell you a little bit about me. You know, I wear the hat. The rattlesnake is from my brother-in-law's ranch in Washington State. I've spent a lot of time on their wheat cattle ranch. And I have a horse. I have a Morgan Arabian. I do endurance rides sometimes. And she's a good friend of mine. She is. In fact, I have 3 girlfriends. Oh, I shouldn't tell that. Yeah. One is sitting back here in the back. And she's an immigrant, if you want to say that. All of us are immigrants in America, maybe. She's an immigrant from Taiwan. But we didn't meet there. We were married 25 years ago. We went over there, and we stayed 3 years. I was already over there learning Chinese. But we met at Mountain View Library. How's that? And the other girlfriend is my horse named Fly. third one is at home, named Kragan, because I found this little cat under a car in a Kragan's parking lot. So, let's watch the first film, and then maybe comment between those. This, I think, is the logo almost for the Dust Bowl. Dorothea Lange's picture from then that just tells so much of the story. Yeah.
Did you know that the lady in that picture settled in Santa Cruz?
Is that right?
And she died in the 1990s.
Wow, that's special, Steve. Wow. That's really... Well, let's see.
Prosperity is just around the corner, say the hopeful headlines. But around the corners wind the lengthening bread lines, and a whole new class of citizens appears in American society. The new poor.
Leave. And he said, just takes so long to get everything together. Oakland Hills, my cousin went to church, came back, the firemen were there. You got 15 minutes. I rewrote this song and I sang it during the Oakland Hills thing. I lost my home up in those Oakland Hills. I lost my home up in those Oakland Hills. I lost my home up in those Oakland Hills. We never thought it'd happen that way. Had 15 minutes to get out and run. Had 15 minutes to get out and run. Had 15 minutes to get out and run. If you had 15 minutes, what would you have done? And Woody wrote lots of songs, and if you want to hear them, you got to invite me back. But anyway, it's a great history, and we picked up Ramblin' Man upstairs just to show you. My favorite book, though, that I was looking at today is written actually by Woody. It's all through his life, writing that he did, and it's called Pastures of Plenty, which is my favorite Woody Guthrie song, which is what we'll close with. John Steinbeck wrote Pastures of Heaven, which was about a valley down by Salinas, but this is Pastures of Plenty. Goes like this. We worked all your orchards of peaches and prunes, slept by your fields in the light of the moon. Alongside your cities you saw us, and then we came with the dust and we left with the wind. California, Arizona, we worked all your crops. Up north to Oregon to gather your hops. Dug your beets from the field, cut your grapes from the vine, to place on your table that bright sparkling wine. So forever we'll ramble, my family and I. Along your green valleys we'll work till we die. And we'll give our lives for this land if it be, 'cause these pastures of plenty must always be free. Folks that are homeless can't sleep in their car. Police knock on the window to arrest or to scare. Where can folks go now if they can't sleep there? Now that may be saying too much, but it's kind of what Woody Guthrie wrote about all the way through. We're living in times when guys with the dimes can really make it tough for folks with no stuff.